Here I've got a quick video on how to add and subtract rational expressions with a common denominator. What we want to do here is add or subtract our numerators, and where appropriate we'll be reducing the final fraction. That may or may not involve factoring. So let's look at the first example, which is addition or subtraction of monomials. So if we add our numerators together, we get 12 over 3x squared y, since the denominators are the same. And if possible, we will try and reduce the fraction wherever necessary in the numerator to denominator. Here, 3 and 12 have a common factor of 3, so we'll reduce it by 3. And we're left with 4 in the numerator and x squared y in the denominator. The next example, again, we look at our denominator. We see that it's common with an x minus 3 and an x minus 3. So now what we're going to do is subtract the numerators. And again, here what we want to remember, this is a subtraction of fractions with an algebraic expression in the numerator. So we want to make sure that we add the opposite of every term. So we'll take add, and we'll take the opposite of 6x and the opposite of 13. Now we'll go ahead and combine like terms. So negative 4x minus 12, all being divided by x minus 3. If possible, we will see if we can factor out a common factor and to see if that fraction will reduce one more time. So if I factor out a negative 4, I'm left with x plus 3 divided by x minus 3. Since these are not the same terms, this not can be reduced any further. However, if this were an x minus 3, we would then continue to reduce that fraction. And again, either answer is correct. On the last example, another subtraction with a common denominator. And again, we were going to add the opposite of every term in the numerator. Adding those like terms together, we have 6x plus 12 all over the common denominator. And now here we're going to look to reduce that fraction, if possible, by factoring numerator, factor denominator, and then see where it goes. So here we have a GCF method of factoring, so we're going to factor out a 6. In our denominator, we have a GCF method of factoring as well, since they have common factors of 2 and an x, and we're left with x plus 2. Now we can look at this ratio and reduce it further. X plus 2 is a common factor. 6 and 2 share a common factor of 2. And my final answer would be 3 over x.